Nostradamus literally would make you want to go deaf and not blind. And like that segue?
Wow, that was an easy, smooth segue there, buddy.
Look at that. But no, you know, this is one of those things. We're going to get serious, I guess, for a minute. You know, you are, as we've said, you're a photographer.
Yes.
And being a photographer, I would think it's fairly important to have eyesight.
You got to see what you're aiming at. Yeah,
I would say, and yet you revealed this week to your closest friends, and you said it was cool to talk about. So we'll talk about it a little bit. That you've got like a degenerative, fucked up problem with your eyes.
Yeah, it's called Fuchs dystrophy, and it's basically a degeneration of the cells on the inner layer of the cornea on your eyes.
Ooh. So, you posted like some pictures, like some microscopics, and I actually, because I'm me, I'm Googling and I'm reading about it and whatnot. And
I had never heard of it before I was diagnosed with it.
I never heard of it either.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but it in some ways it's almost like getting like pits in your eyes where like certain parts of your cornea go bad?
The cells degenerate and go bad. And where a normal inner lining of your cornea, you see this big hexagonal pattern of cells and it's all perfect. Mm-hmm. Well, some of the cells start to deteriorate and you get like big pits or holes of where the cells are dead.
So and I'm sure you're brand new in this as well, but when you go to the doctor, and why did you go to the doctor? Let's start there. I mean, were you driving and you couldn't see right, or what fucking happened?
I had always went to those big chain places like Pearl Vision Center and those places.
Sure.
And for some reason, I was just really, and I don't know if this is the result of the disease I have or I just got a shitty pair of glasses, but I was really not happy with my last prescription. I never thought I saw good with my last prescription.
Right.
And over the last year, I've just noticed my eyesight deteriorating, especially close up.
Okay.
Trying to read product stuff on packaging or a menu in a dark restaurant. It just had got worse and worse.
Okay.
And also seeing like halos around lights and more sensitivity to light if I come from like inside your house outside in the middle of the day when it takes me a long time to adjust. And I just really wasn't happy with my last pair of glasses, like I said, from one of those big chain places, and that's all I pretty much ever went to.
Sure.
So I decided this time I'm going to go to a real eye doctor.
Okay.
And I went to a real eye doctor, and I told him, wasn't happy with this, and told him the symptoms I was having, and he did, the exam and the tests that he did were so much more extensive that you get in one of those shitty places, those chain places. Mm-hmm. And he diagnosed me with this Fuchs dystrophy, whatever it is.
So how does that even go? Does he come in with the deep, low voice and go, Joe, I got to tell you, we got some bad news for you?
No, they were some puzzling things about my regular exam, and I was telling him about my symptoms, and he decided to do these tests. And the way that they look at your cornea is they shine this light in your eye that is literally brighter than the fucking sun.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever had a light shine in my eyes as bright as this. And it's 2 inches away from your eye.
Right.
And it just feels like a magnifying glass. You know how you burn stuff with a magnifying glass? It just feels like a magnifying glass is searing your brain.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's how they're able to see, the abnormalities in the cornea.
Right.
And he just basically told me that I have this and didn't really give me a whole lot of information, and I started reading up on it and, made a post about it on Facebook. And, the one cool thing about Facebook is I've got almost 5,000 friends.
Sure.
So when I posted about it, I had like 4 people say, I work for this ophthalmologist. Or
nice.
My company does computer coding for this ophthalmologist.
Sure.
And, I'm sure I'll call them. We'll talk to you. So I was able to talk to a few of those people and really learn a lot about what it is. And there's basically no cure for it. There's no treatment for it. The rate of degeneration varies wildly between different people. I might get diagnosed with it in 20 years from now. It might not be any worse, and I might not ever need anything. Or 2 or 3 years from now, I might have to get cornea transplants. So I have no idea. No idea what to expect, and there's no treatment, so you just kind of have to wait it out.
So now you just become a slave to the doctor.
Yeah, go back every year and see how the degeneration is going. And I guess all the people that have called me a degenerate over the years, now they're right.
Well, I mean, and I didn't see this in the reading that I read, and and even if I did, we should still probably explain it to people that are listening anyway. How, obviously you're in an environment with your job, with taking photos.
Yeah.
Lots of different light exposures, dark, bright, shining,
super bright. Sometimes,
lasers. You're catching lasers in your eyes sometimes. Is that?
I don't think so.
I
don't think so. I mean, the disease that I have is more prominent in your mid-60s is when it's mostly diagnosed, and it's more prominent in women, too. Mm-hmm. And the ophthalmologists that I talk to say there's very few people my age, which is 47,
right.
47-year-old guys that get diagnosed with this. And I've had these symptoms for a long time, so I wonder if I hadn't went to those shitty chain places for the last 10 years, if I might have got diagnosed with it sooner.
Right.
But it really doesn't matter because there's nothing they can do about it.
Right, exactly.
And basically, they won't do a transplant until you're blind.
So it's almost like cataracts, where they wait till you got a full cataract before they do a goddamn thing.
Because I would do it now.
Today,
if I knew it was going to be bad in 4 years, I'd just say do it now.
Right, and just get
it
over.
But no, they refuse to do it.
Jesus Christ.
You just have to live with shitty vision until it gets so bad that you can't drive or can't live your life.
Now, how do they even gauge that? Do they gauge that through testing, or do you have say, dude, I can't fucking see, let's move?
That's the thing I've been trying to figure out, and I'm not really sure about that. I mean, I guess if you go to them and just say, look, I can't drive, I can't walk through my house without walking into walls,
right.
I guess they would do it. And then I think they also have to examine it and see, because you can tell what the rate of degeneration is by looking at it. I mean, if you don't have, mild amounts of pits through your cornea, then it's okay. But if, half the thing is fucking destroyed,
right?
Then of course it's pretty easy to gauge how mild or how serious it is.
So right now we're looking at each other. Are there black spots in your eye?
No, but if I look up at the two lights above you, I can see colored halos around them.
Oh, you mean before you broke my lights?
I was trying to adjust it, man. It was blinding me.
It's my fault.
And sometimes when I'm driving with street lights, on a highway at night,
sure,
I see all kinds. It's like an acid flashback from my 20s.
Wow.
Where you see trails and weird kind of stuff like that, and halos and bizarre stuff. And
Jesus, man.
The first couple of times it started happening, I almost thought, I've heard people talk about acid flashbacks. I maybe only took acid 4 or 5 times back in the day when I was experimenting around. I never did it a lot or anything, but I thought, is this actually what's happening? But it actually wasn't. It was, because the lights hit those certain pits that aren't there, and it causes bizarre things to happen.
Jesus Christ, dude. Well, that fucking blows.
Every photographer's dream. Well, and I was really worried about it the first couple of days, but now that I've talked to some people and stuff, I mean, the worst that comes to worst is that I'll get the transplants, and it doesn't seem like those are the interviews I've seen and the videos I've seen of people who've had those. They say they're basically about as painful as getting a cavity filled.
Sure,
it's not really a big deal.
I think the thing with eyes and
needles are cutting in my eyes would fuck with me hard.
Well, it's seeing it.
Because I never have even wore contacts. I've wore glasses all my life because I'm so weird about my eyes. I couldn't even take a catic lens in or out with my
put
fingers.
It in your.
Having some guys, and they basically have to cut, I think, down the center of your cornea. Hopefully, they would put me out for that.
Yeah,
hopefully they
maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. But still, your eyes are.
Yeah, you
see it coming.
Yeah,
no matter even if. That, and I think that's the big fear always with eye. That's I have a stigmatism. In theory, I'm supposed to wear glasses. I do have a pair. You've never seen them on my head.
I have a bad stigmatism, which is why I've never wore contacts, because back in the day I would have had to get the hard contacts.
Sure.
And again, I could never take stuff in and out of my eyes. And you know how people have contacts and the contact will float around to the side of their head?
No.
Dude, I've never had a panic attack in my life, but if a contact lens floated back into my brain, I would have a panic attack. That would freak me the fuck right out.
That's why I don't do contacts. And
I never have.
And I've been recommended several times to do the LASIK. They keep saying, the LASIK will fix it, this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but they don't put you out for that.
See, I know people that have had the LASIK and 6-7 years later they have to get glasses.
Oh, see.
Because your vision starts to deteriorate right after you have the LASIK.
Right, I was just about to go ahead and get it. Now you just scared me away.
So you're out there driving around without glasses? Is that what you're saying? And you need them?
You know what? Most of the time... And the short answer is yes, a lot of the time. But
I'm glad I live about 4 cities away from it.
Well, and it kind of explains, my history of being a bad driver. And I say it all the time. I'm a terrible driver. I hit stuff, and I always have, to the point that the car out there now is the first new car I've had in 25 years because I constantly hit stuff. constantly hit other cars, bridges, poles, curbs, whatever.
People.
Never a person. I've never hit a person. Almost did once. I was in San Jose. It's a true story. I really have, because I always hit stuff, And
see, I really haven't hit much stuff. Yeah. I just hope my vision doesn't get to that point where I start hitting stuff.
Well, I won't blame vision. I'll blame just not paying any attention when I drive, and I'm better at it now. Now a big part of it for me now is that I drive so much. Obviously driving back and forth. I drove 22,000, but you know what that is, about 40 minutes from where I go in Aliquippa. So yeah,
but no, I mean when I would calculate the time with or without the toll roads, it was a 40-minute difference.
Yeah, but even that, maybe going up, you take the long route, but going back, it's like fuck.
It's just ridiculous. I don't think it's that much to go all the way south.
Yeah, well,
down 77.
Those toll roads are stupid too. There's that one spot when you get off of 80 and you get onto whatever that other toll road is,
76 or whatever.
And you literally go like 3 miles and you get hit with a $6 toll.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's so stupid, man. All right, dude, I'll tell you what. I need a beer, so I'm going to play some music. I told you I was going to play this. It's the only hair metal song I'm going to play tonight.
Dude, you said you weren't going to play any.
Well, it's close to hair metal. Most people don't consider them hair metal.
Can I veto it if I don't like it?
Well, it fits the mode.
That's not what I asked you.
Yeah, you can. But it fits the story about Blind.
Okay.
I've got Kiss, Goin Blind.
Oh, you can do Kiss.
Are they hair metal or not?
No.
You don't think Kiss is hair metal?
No.
Hair rock.
Poison, Warrant, Great White, that kind of stuff.
Kiss has a little more cred.
Yeah. A little bit.
All right. Well, why don't we do that? Let's play some Kiss right now. Let me grab my mic. It is Goin Blind. It's Kiss right here on your Classic Metal Show.